Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. So today it is very overdue, but I am going to be ranking League 2 stadiums. So let's get into the video. Also, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe, trying to hit 500 before the end of the season. And yeah, let's get into the video. So the worst ground in my opinion in League 2 this season is Macclesfield Town, also known as the Moss Rose. It's a very small ground. Don't really get much following anyway as a club. Second from bottom, I put Morecambe. Morecambe's ground is called the Globe Arena. Just genuinely, it just looks like a National League ground and it's just not very nice. 22nd, I put Crawley Town. Their ground is called the People's Pension Stadium. I've been there 2 or 3 times this season, and every time it's been raining. Like, I like the idea of having an away standing section. I quite like that idea in grounds, but it's very small, haven't got a high, like, I think it's because the club don't have like sufficient, like quite a lot of funding for higher stands and that, but it's very small. They get a fairly good home following, not really much away, and the seats are also uncomfortable as well. 21st, I put Grimsby Town. Obviously Blundell Park, the capacity is around 9,000, so it's fairly big. The only reason I've put it so low down is because when I went at the beginning of the season, where we were cramped in this little corner and we didn't really have much room. So I think they wanted us all to be together, but it just wasn't very nice. 20th, I have put Glanford Park, so Scunthorpe United. It holds around 9,100 roughly. These aren't to be precise. I didn't go because I was unwell earlier on in the season. I was meant to be going, but unfortunately I couldn't. Apparently, from what people told me, it's freezing cold. So like the wind, because it's so low down, the away ends and that, and just the home end in general, it's not very nice because the wind just blows onto you, so you're sitting there or standing there and it's just freezing cold. Apparently the seats aren't that comfy either. Moving on to 19th, I put Newport County, also known as the Rodney Parade. Now, I was really looking forward to going to this ground next week, but unfortunately, you know, coronavirus has killed football. Let's not get into that, that's for another video. But it holds around 8,700 roughly. I quite like this ground, but the reason why it's so low down for me is the fact of I like the idea of the home end like standing, but it just, I think it looks very worn down, so it takes away from the fact that it's surrounded by kind of a nice kind of countryside-ish. But yeah. 18th, I've put Cheltenham. So if you haven't already seen that video, go watch it. But yeah, it's called the Johnny Rock Stadium / Wadham Road apparently. It holds around 7,100. They get quite a decent amount of support there, but you're like right in front of the pitch, so it's like as soon as you walk in, there's like the pitch and then this rail, which isn't actually very strong. So it's like one of the players was a pelter. I reckon it could actually go through there. But apart from that, I think it's a nice stadium, just a bit too small. In 17th place, I've put Crewe Alexandra. It's also known as the Alexandra Stadium. It holds around 10,100 or 10,200. I went there last season. I quite like the layout of it, but I think it's because obviously the away fans have this stand. I like the massive stand over there, which is like the main stand where the players come out. But these two kind of south and north stands, I think, I don't really know the layout. They're quite small and very low down, but they seem to be the most popular areas of the stadium. So in 16th, I put Stevenage. Now, Stevenage's stadium is called the Lamex Stadium. It holds around 7,800 roughly. Obviously, I couldn't go to that one this year. Yeah, I couldn't go to that one this year, but it's an alright ground. It's not one that's in my top kind of 10 for other reasons, but the stewards there, some of them are alright, some of them are a bit hit and miss. The fans there, quite friendly. The ground is okay, but at the minute obviously their attendance isn't that great, so they've only got certain stands open because they're fixing others or they just haven't. There's no point in opening them, but yeah. 15th, I've put Port Vale. Port Vale's ground is called Vale Park. It holds roughly around 19,100 apparently. I've been there twice now. It was quite nice actually, but the only problem is, and I sound like an absolute weirdo, or an absolute idiot, right? The seats are all mixed match colours. Like, I don't know, that sounds really picky, but as in, some are like different shades of orange and yellow, and like, it's just a bit, it's just a bit like, at least match your seat colours. I sound like I've got like serious OCD there, but honestly it bugs me so much. 14th, Salford City. It is called the Peninsula, the Peninsula Stadium. Holds roughly around 5,100 in capacity. I've also been there. If you haven't watched that video, go watch it. Quite a good day out. The home end, or it just basically screams non-league ground, but I still kind of like the layout of it. Like the away end, you've got choice of seating and standing. The home end as well, you've got standing, seating and seating. So it's like you can choose whatever you want to sit or stand, and it's just, I like the layout of it, but it's very unsafe as well, because around the ground it was like, do not walk on the roof as it's not safe. But apart from that, I think it's an okay ground. In 13th, I put Carlisle United. Also known as Brunton Park, has a capacity of around 18,200. I really like the ground personally. I couldn't go this year. I've not been to like 5 or 6 this year so far, something like that. But anyway, I like the ground. I tell you, my favourite part about the stadium is that massive tall stand where it's just all standing. I love that. That's my favourite bit, and that's why I put it so high up. 12th place, Oldham Athletic. Ground's called Boundary Park. I was going to say I went there. It holds roughly around 13,500. I quite like the stand opposite the away end, and the one to the left of us. That one's quite nice. That one looks up to date, but apart from that, I think the ground looks very run down, and obviously they're struggling at the minute with financial problems, which I hope gets sorted, because I really don't want any more clubs ending up like the situation with Bolton and Bury. But yeah. 11th, I put Walsall. Now Walsall, I'm going to, hopefully if the season carries on towards I think it's the last away game of the season. It's called the Bescot Stadium. It has a capacity of around 11,300. From the pictures that I've seen, I think it's the one opposite the away end. That one's the really big one. That one looks quite nice. I mean, it's kind of grotty towards, if you look at the away end point of view, but apart from that, if you look like on the outside of it and like certain areas of the ground, it looks quite nice. In 10th, I put Cambridge United. Now Cambridge United, I've been there 3 seasons now. It's called the Abbey Stadium, holds around 8,150, something like that. I quite like the ground personally. I like the way the home end opposite the away end is all standing, and that's where most of the atmosphere comes from. I also like the away end, the fact that obviously they've got the concrete bit, then the stand, that kind of makes it look a lot nicer. Also, like, if you take because you have to go through a footpath to get to the away end, that's quite nice. And yeah. 9th, I put Leyton Orient. Their stadium's called Brisbane Road. Yeah, Brisbane Road. Holds around 9,200 or 9,300. I quite like the stands. I like their hospitality one. That one's quite nice. The atmosphere there is normally quite good. Get quite a decent following home and away. It's just a nice area of London. I think they've got quite a lot of money, but I think that's definitely helped improve the stadium and the appearance of the club. 8th, I've put Forest Green. So Forest Green ground I've not been to yet. I've always been busy around that date whenever it's been on, so it's one of the ones I really want to go to. The ground's called the New Lawn. It's a vegan club. They get quite a lot of stick for that, obviously. They've got a capacity of around 5,200. I quite like their layout because obviously Gloucester, quite a nice place anyway, but I know it sounds weird, but because their colours are like green and black, like their stands have got green barriers, like things that go with the club. 7th, I put Northampton Town. Now their stadium is called the Sixfields Stadium. It holds roughly 7,800. I really like the size of it. Obviously they've got quite big stands. The only thing that puts me off again is the fact that the seats are all mixed match colours. So in 6th place I put Colchester, and I'm not being biased or anything. It's called the JobServe Community Stadium. It was called the Western Homes, but obviously we cancelled our contract, or we didn't sign a new sponsorship with them basically. So it's now the JobServe Community Stadium. Holds around 10,100 or 10,200. One of the main reasons I love our ground is because stands are quite big. We've got jobserve.com on there, on the west stand, no, the east stand, sorry. And we've got we've got the blue and white in our stand and that, and it just makes it look nicer. 5th, I've put Exeter City. The ground's called St James's Park. It holds roughly 8,600. What I like about the ground is obviously they've got that massive, where the ultras sit, massive, all standing. I like the away end, like it's made out of completely metal, from like metal skips, whatever it is. I just think it's a very kind of big ground, very nice, quite a lot of atmosphere. 4th, I put Mansfield Town. It is called the Field Mill / the One Call Stadium. It holds roughly around 9,200. The reason why I've put this ground so high up is because yes, one of their stands is completely fallen apart now and used for advertising to cover up the fact that it's just wrecked. But apart from that, I like what they've done with their stadium. Like, I love the height of the stands. I get quite a good following. I love the blue and orange, or the blue and amber colour as well around the stadium. It just makes it look a lot brighter. Moving into top 3, 3rd place I put Swindon Town. It's called the County Ground, holds roughly 15,800. Now I like this ground purely because Swindon fans managed to fill most of it. Now they get like 8,000, like I may be exaggerating here, but they basically get like 8,000 at a home game. And I love that because I also love the fact of, say if Plymouth, when Plymouth went to Swindon, they had that massive away end where it's not enclosed, kind of goes back in height, so diagonal, so it looks like it's been slid out. But if not as well, like you can see the pitch clearly because obviously how high you are. The second best ground in the league, I put Plymouth. Now Plymouth ground is called Home Park. That was our first away game of the season. It's got a capacity of like 18,700, which I think for me is, well, in my opinion, that is like that League One or League One Championship capacity. And the thing is, they basically almost sell it out. Like, especially their first home game, when we played them, they sold that out easily. And it's the fact of, I like the fact that most of it's all like as one. So if you follow it around, apart from this stand, it's all connected. and it just looks really nice, so I'm kind of hoping they connect it. So the best ground I think in this season, or this season in our league, is Bradford City's. It is called the Utilita Energy Stadium. It holds around 25,000. The thing that makes it the best as well is because the massive corner in the stadium. So if you've seen in other people's videos, or like, you know, they've got kind of all their stand, most of it is quite high anyway, but they've got this corner in the home end where it's like really massive, and it just makes it stand out. And I love the design of the stadium, and I definitely think by far it is the best ground in our league. So that is the end of today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. I'm trying to hit 500 before the end of the season. Leave a like on the video, and yeah, I'll see you soon. Obviously, there won't be any football vlogs, I don't think, for quite a while now, but I'll try to do stuff like this. Also, leave in the comment section down below what you want me to do if you have any ideas, and yeah.